Alrighty. Doing a little tutorial on, usually I don't do tutorials on the editor itself, I do them on playbills, but this is a kind of request to do a tutorial on water, at least what I know on water, so it's not an official tutorial on water, but this is how I use water, so bear with me, shall you? Alright, so you got your land. Let's change this up. So we have, well, look, I'm already going into playbills. Alright, so change our tile, just do something generic here. Grass, for example. Alright, so we got some grass. We're gonna create just a little river thing, a little lake thing, just to show you. I just like this picture, just to show you how it works, right? So, a couple ways of doing water, in essence. So I'm going to create first my little river. I'll make a little kind of lake thing here, right? I'm going to make a less shallow river thing. Right? So you got your little river thing, you got your lake thing, right? Just kind of smooth this out like these, right? If I'm making a walkable river, like for instance, I want this to be walkable. If I want this walkable, I'm always going to check my overlay path and make sure it's walkable. Okay, so really important. So that's this little refresh thing here. So you see that there's certain parts that aren't walkable, so I'll smooth those out. Hit refresh again just to make sure I can cross these, right? Kind of thing, right? So now I know that you can walk the shallow, obviously you can't walk the deep, right? So that's what I want. It's overlay, none. So a couple ways of doing water. So the newbie way, which I do if it's just a lake, is just a water flood entity. Just click it and click it in, right? So you have your little water thing. And this might work pretty good actually, what I'm trying to do. See, it makes a river go through. But let's say that it doesn't work for that, and it only works for that part right there, right? Because just say this river is a hunch over, right? Let's just say it's a hunch over and it goes down, right? Whatever. So there's your basic water entity. What I do when I make waterfalls and rivers and stuff is that there's another water height map, which works very similar to the terrain tool. So I click this height map, and very similar in sense of the terrain tool, so you have the same brushes. I might take, I know that this is 10 meters high, this is 5 meters high, so I'm going to say I want this to be 6 meters high, change the brush size, and I just paint it, right? Just paint it on. So there's my painted river, right? That's how you do waterfalls too, by the way. So you paint it and then you smooth it down. So I'll use this one. Smoothen, right click, and it smooths it down. You can create like the deformity type thing of the entity. So if I put this up, you'll see it's up, and then I just smooth, right click, right? Just down. And you'll see it smooths. So I can remove, oh, I didn't want it rough and smooth. So I can smooth it down so it's like a waterfall type thing. That's really all there is to that. So I'm going to go back to eyedropper. I want this size. Just scoop all this. Exactly the same as terrain, how terrain works. Okay, that's that tool. So we have our water. Really simple. There's two parts of water. There's the direction of the water, and then there's the texturing of the water. And these are two completely separate things. Very important. So the first thing I do is I do the direction of the water, which is the select water flow map right here. Right. So I got my selection, and by default it does this arrow one. I've seen baking use this one. He just changes the direction, does it. I'm a little weirder. I like to just free flow it. So this one here, generate flow brush, right here. Let me change the size a bit, and I just drag and drop, click, drag and drop, so I have more control over where it's going. I don't have to keep adjusting anything. It's like a freehand. You'll have to do this a couple times because if you screw it up, it goes like this. Right? Let me change the. Let me add a texture here just to make it easier to see. River rock is the one I use pretty much all the time. When I do river rock, I always change the UV scale to 3. It just makes the rock smaller and more kind of realistic. Right. So you got your river rock. Right. Boop, 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 boop. It's not perfect, I know. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, so to speak. Usually I do the mud first and then the rock on top, which is what looks like I'm going to do because it's not coming through properly. So I am going to eat your dish. So there's my bell. It's my favorite. That's my favorite texture is this battle defrost battle. And then I'll put my rock on top. Of course I'll make it prettier in a real map, but just for testing purposes, right? So I have my river. Now the issue that you see is that only from certain angles you can see the water. Of course you can change the orbit in the atmosphere of the sun so it reflects better. That helps everything as well. Okay. So we got the flow. So we did the flow by doing this one, right? Do the flow, how you want the water to go, and the faster you do it, the faster it flows, kind of thing. Well, kind of. Anyways, so it's good for changing the direction of the water, right? So I want the water going this way, right? Maybe when it hits here, I'll just hit it back type thing. I don't know. So it's coming from here, right? Maybe there's a pipe or something. Goes here. Now, that's changing the flow of the water. Now, I want to texture the water. How do you texture the water? Is the water tiles right here, and this works like texturing. Same thing. So you have your default water, which is what it is, right? So I always leave a default water, just in case. So I'm going to copy this, okay? And I'm going to want to name it so you know. Let's name it River Rush, just so I know what it is. Right? And a whole bunch of stuff you can do here. Important ones obviously is the flow strength. So it's 0.1. If I put 0.3, it means it's going to go a lot faster. So I'm going to paint this on now. So I'm painting it like I'm painting textures, right? So go back to painter, size, choose my river rush, same as painting textures, right? Just painting it. It's not changing the flow. I'm just painting. That's all I'm doing. Painting the water. Very simple. That's all I'm doing. Right? So painting the water. Let's go back to properties here. So I change the flow strength, changes the speed of the flow. See that? I usually use 0.3 or 0.4 for rivers. And then, of course, you can change some of the other stuff, just little things. But the big ones are the color, obviously, and the depth. So why is the depth important? So it's saying that this color doesn't take effect until 5 meters deep. Well, this water is not 5 meters deep. So if I change this to 1, now it is, right? 0.5 maybe. Maybe 2. So there's a little bit. So that means the color doesn't take effect until the depth of the water. So at 5 meters, it starts taking 2, 1, right? So it's still crossable water. And then here's your deep water color, and this can be, you know, anything you want. You want funny looking water, you want crazy looking water, you want mud water like Bacon did in Rapido. I think he just used like a dark brown, which is like one of the hardest colors to get in this game, brown for some reason. So again, here's my flow. Select water tool. You can changes the. You're just pushing it. It's like you're pushing the water, right? Just push the water. Push the water. Sometimes it's a little bit retarded. Doesn't want to pay attention, but just change the scale here. And just play with it. Just keep painting it and painting it and painting it. And then you'll get it eventually, and it will go. I think it's because I have this thing going so fast that it doesn't like it. But so that's basically the flow. There's that. Another trick I've seen Bacon do is you'll have the flow going, right? And what he does is he actually creates another flow, and he creates a faster one down the middle. So basically what he's doing there is he's creating another river rush. He's making it even faster. So I'll make this river rush here will be the center. And this is river rush sides. Right? So I got sides. I'm going to lower the strength on this a little bit. Put it to 3. I'm going to fix my flow here. Right? So it's a little bit like this kind of thing. Right? Still being disobedient today, but so you got your little flow kind of thing going, right? And then what he'll do is he'll take another one, so rush center, which might be flow strength. So I'm gonna go put this at 3. That's a 3, and this is gonna be a 4. And he'll do a paintbrush center down the middle kind of thing. I'll change the speed just to make it so it looks a little bit more obvious what's going on. So 0.2, and then you'll see that it's faster down the middle. 0.5. So basically what he's doing is he's doing this. So it's going fast down the middle and then slower on the sides. Kind of thing. That's water. That's how I do water. Once you have the concept of there's 2 different things. There's flow control, which is this one, and then there's texturing, which is your water tiles. Okay. The flow control is also where you do the foam intensity. Forgot to mention that. So foam intensity is where you do the flow. The bottom here, you'll see foam intensity. Put that like 0.1 and right click, and you just do like edges. So around rocks and poles and bridges and stuff like that. That's how you do the foam. If you want to delete it, there's a couple ways you can do it. I just put it 0, right click and delete. There you go. That is your quick and dirty water tutorial in Essence Editor. Hope it's helpful.